Hello, everybody. Oscars were yesterday as we're recording this, and I'm Daniel Montgomery with Gold Derby here with Paul Sheehan, our executive editor, and Steve Hill, who wiped the floor with pretty much all of us, not pretty much all of us, literally all of us, in his Oscar predictions. We predicted all 24 categories at the Oscars, and he correctly predicted 20 out of 24, missing only 4 categories, and one of the ones he got right was Moonlight for Best Picture, which puts you in elite company in terms of people who saw that coming. So for starters, how did you arrive at that destination?
I was thinking in terms of when Brokeback Mountain was predicted to win everything that year. I can't remember how long ago that was. And it won Best Director, but it didn't win Best Picture. I think Crash won that year. And it just looked like La La Land was just going to sweep the board. And I'm thinking it's going to be one of those occasions where it's not going to get the Best Picture. And everything seemed to be like Moonlight was coming up. So that's why I chose that one in the end.
Yeah, but Steve, I mean, I know you're from England, so you've got this false modesty built in. I mean, we had 6,000 people predicting, and you were #1 by yourself, not a tie. And you missed 4 categories, and you just told us. I mean, you get picture right, you get both sound ones right, which most of us, if we had it, were the other way around. And then a couple that you missed. So you told us you missed Best Actor. So I'm assuming you went.
I didn't get Best Actor. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I thought that was a shoo-in.
And that's our fault for talking about how SAG winners have won for the last 12 years in a row and all of that, right?
Yeah, it didn't help. Yeah.
So missed documentary feature. So what did you go with a documentary feature?
I went with Fire at Sea.
Okay.
I thought that they weren't going to like OJ because it seemed to be more like a TV event rather than a film event. Fire at Sea, I didn't even know what Fire at Sea was about, but I saw something online. I thought, okay, let's go for that one. So yeah, that was just complete fluke. I was like, that was a fluke. I had no idea.
Well, our Chris Beecham, we were just doing an Editors Select Fest, and he said you must ask him how he got those 2 sound categories.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I put Arrival for sound editing. I've got my sheet here, and Hacksaw Ridge for sound mixing. I'm one of those people that I have to look up to remember exactly which is which, what they both mean, and so it seemed to be. Also, I got to admit, I've seen very few of these films. Even I was looking through this list, and I know that I've seen 2 all the way through, which is I've seen Rogue One and I've seen Moana because I have a 7-year-old daughter. So and I've saw Star Wars because I'm a male adult in my 40s. So obviously I would see that. And the only other 2 that I've seen even bits of are again like Zootopia and Jungle Book because of my daughter. So I haven't actually seen any of the Best Picture or any of these. So it was basically a complete fluke. It's not false modesty for being British. It was a case of I almost like stuck a pin into some of these and got to #1, which surprised me more than anybody, I got to say, when I saw that this morning.
Well, Daniel, I mean, like, we spend months, years analyzing these races, and to hear this is so humbling. And it reminds us of last year. Now, at least Elizabeth Myers, who won last year, she did go to the movie marathons. So she had seen the films by Oscar Sunday. Now, of them, which one of the 9 Best Picture nominees are you most looking forward to watching?
I got to see La La Land now. My wife has seen it. My 16-year-old daughter has seen it. They were the ones that gave me the heads up on what I should put down for best song, because it seemed obvious that La La Land was going to win something for the song, and I said, well, which one of these songs is better? So they gave me that one. But yeah, I want to see La La Land. I'm hearing so much about it.
And so you're from the UK, but I think you told me you live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin now, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So what sort of work do you do?
I work for a homeless shelter here in Milwaukee. I train the people that come through the shelter to go and work in other houses for homeless people with mental illness. So we're using their knowledge and their experience of being homeless so that they can help other people that are homeless. And I'm one of the people that help to train them and manage that program.
Oh, fascinating! And have you followed? As you sound such you dedicated such good work. Do you sort of look at award shows as a kind of a divertisement, like just something to,
Oh yeah,
distraction? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, completely. I mean, you go on.
No, I was gonna say, have you followed them since you were a kid, or when did you sort of become enamored with them?
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, growing up in the UK, it was difficult to follow the Oscars because for a start, when I was growing up, it wasn't shown live. So we would always hear who won what in the morning. And when they did start showing it live, it would be the middle of the night. I never watched the live Oscar show until I came to this country. And so now, since I've been here since 2005, I've watched it every year because I never had that opportunity before.
I'm looking at. No, I was just saying, I'm looking at the list. One of the things that I'm always fascinated by, and we always debate this among ourselves, is, last minute predictions. Are they a good idea? Are they a bad idea? Do you end up changing your mind and talking yourself out of a right answer? Were you solid on most of these choices relatively early, or did you make a lot of last minute calls that ended up paying off?
I made all of these choices the day of, so I made them all yesterday morning, and and because I'd seen virtually none of these films, it was only when I saw the little clips that they showed during the nominations that I started to second guess myself. I think it was with the well, I got that one wrong. I put Fantastic Beasts. Because I was thinking it's got to have big sets and things like this, and then they showed the little clip of La La Land, and I'm thinking, I think I went for the wrong one. It looked like that was really well done. So yeah, I was as I was watching it, I was sort of second guessing, but it started off, I was like, wow, I'm actually doing pretty good here already. I was like, wow, I've never done this well before.
But then you got Fantastic Beasts for costume design, and now you mentioned being from Britain and the BAFTAs.
Yeah,
we had Fantastic Beasts for production design because it had won at the BAFTAs. So were you aware of the BAFTAs and then say that it wasn't enamored with Moonlight? Did that make you pause for predicting it for Best Picture?
No, I mean, to be honest, yeah, I used to follow the BAFTAs when I was in the UK. I haven't followed the BAFTAs since then. So it made, I didn't even know who had won the BAFTAs or anything like that. It made no difference. It was purely yesterday morning looking at and thinking about, well, I know what the films are. I mean, I've seen trailers, I'd heard a lot about these, and it was a case of, set design. That's got to be Fantastic Beasts, and it was basically along those lines.
But so now I'm guessing you're fairly new to Gold Derby then, if you didn't know about the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is really humbling, isn't it, Daniel? I mean,
yeah, next year I'm not watching any of the nominated movies.
Yeah. But now,
I haven't seen any of them.
How did you find our site then?
I Googled. I looked up Oscar prediction sites, and it came up, and I thought that looks fun. I want to try that. I want to see how well I do. Because normally I just do it, by myself on a little sheet of paper, and just that's it. I'm thinking, well, I want to see how well I stack up against other people. And by far, I'm glad I did it, because this is the best year I've ever done. I've never done anything anywhere nearly as good as this. So it is. Yeah, it's pretty lucky.
but you'll agree to talk to us in the coming year because now you are
Sure.
for better or worse, because you are it alone too. Like, sometimes we'll have 10 or 12 people that tie,
Okay.
and we break the tie by the votes. I mean, it's you. I mean, it's really you must have. You don't even realize it, that you're obviously brilliant at this to be able to forecast some of these
Wow.
wins.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe I should buy a lottery ticket or something. This is great.
yeah. What? So I assume you watching it now? You're in America. You're able to watch it live. You're in the Central Time Zone, so it's a little bit earlier than the East with Daniel and I. So what?
Yeah.
Up until obviously the Best Picture, that's a whole
Yeah.
other story. But up until then, what was your favorite moment in the show?
There were a few things I liked. I liked Jimmy Kimmel as a host. I don't watch him. I mean, it's too late for me. I don't stay up that late to watch late night shows. And so I wasn't getting all of the references to the Matt Damon feud, but I found that really well done. That it was spread out throughout the whole evening, especially when they did. When he was watching We Bought a Zoo. I thought that was, for me, that was like the best thing, because those other segments, they were okay, but they were a little bit insipid, a little bit sort of self-congratulatory, and when they were like sending up their own segments, I thought that was probably my favorite moment.
And then in terms of, you were keeping track of your wins, so you must have been bummed out. You were probably almost as bummed out as Denzel looked when he lost.
Oh, he looked so bad. Yeah, I had to feel a little sorry for him. Yeah, because with Casey Affleck, I didn't go for Casey because of there's like these rumors of scandals and stuff. I'm just thinking that this year the Oscars wanted to keep it scandal free. They had all of the Oscars So White last year, that they just wanted to play it safe. I didn't think that was gonna be Casey at all. And yeah, I got to feel sorry for him. He did look completely, what a downer.
And then Daniel, you went with Casey. You were explaining. It's interesting. You were explaining why. Tell Steve what your rationale was.
Yeah, it's I was rooting for Denzel so hard for most of the season, and then but I assumed Casey for most of the time, and then SAG happened, and that was my excuse to jump ship to Denzel Washington. But it was actually because I paid attention to BAFTA. It missed the one place that helped me is because he was snubbed there, but they nominated and Viola, and she actually won for that film. Okay. So they liked something about that film, but they didn't like him for some reason. So I felt like, okay, that snub is meaningful in a way that BAFTA isn't always. So it helped me there. It didn't help me much other places. It's interesting. Of the 4 categories that you missed, I got 3 of those right, and yet you got so many more. You got so many more that I got wrong. So you went way ahead of me.
Oh, now how did you? Well, you mentioned you. Oh, go ahead, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed with the not getting the best actor, but I was more disappointed when I thought I'd got the best picture wrong. And that was, I mean, because I was thinking like that. I was not certain, because you can't be certain, but I was thinking this is going to be the year where everybody knows what the Oscar's going to be. It's going to be La La Land for Best Picture, and it's going to be one of those things where it loses right at the last minute. And I was sort of right, actually, in that terms, because it did get taken away at the last minute. It was unbelievable.
And then, so you had your scorecard, so you were waiting for us, I guess, to calculate. But you'd already probably gone to bed by the time we posted the score report.
Oh yeah, I only found out this morning when I woke up. I looked online, and I was like, oh. And I thought maybe it was still being tabulated, and that it'll be changed, in a few hours, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And how did you come up with your screen name?
It's my initials, and Garp. I just World According to Garp, John Irving. It's my favorite book. I read it when I was much younger, and it's still, if you haven't read it, go out and read it. It's just an amazing book. So pretty much everything is Garp with me.
Ah, okay. And I don't know whether what did you think of the film version of Garp?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. It obviously, because the book there's so much in it. Robin Williams is someone I would have seen as Garp, and Glenn Close. I think it was maybe like, if not her first role, a very very early role for her.
Yeah.
Excellent in that. I mean, they changed a lot of it as far as I can remember. Like there's a plane crashing into the house that was never in the book, stuff like that. So it's not as good as the book, but as far as I can remember, I enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Now, you mentioned having children, but do you have time to watch television? Are you a big TV fan? I'm trying to figure out if he can help us predict Emmys here, Daniel, because he got the.
I don't know. I mean,
but now it sounds
beyond
like you may not need to watch it to predict. I mean,
maybe that should be my next thing. Maybe I should just stick with what works for me. I don't know. No, I'm not a big TV fan. Politics, news programs, yeah, I'll watch that, but I don't follow any series.
Oh, okay. Oh, darn. Well, it doesn't mean you can't come and predict the Emmy Awards for us. Well, listen, thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Give it a go.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us your secrets, which are, as I said, very humbling. And both of us, Daniel, weren't you convinced this was going to be the year that you probably, because Daniel was, what did you, 1 year, he trades on this, by the way, Steve, you have to remember, you can now have these bragging rights for a long time. 1 year, didn't you get 23 out of 24, Daniel?
23 out of 24. Wow. That was the Birdman year 2 years ago. And then I relatively fell on my face last year. This year, I feel like I was more or less respectable, so I can live with, I missed a third of the, of the winners. So I got, 16
and
out
that's
of
the thing,
24.
Steve. I mean, we were hoping that with the La La Land sweep that somebody was going to get perfect. So the fact that you saw, I mean, that La La Land wasn't going to win 10 or 11 Oscars. I mean, really, you are to be commended. So we'll definitely, we will give you the credit you deserve when we write this Slugfest up and talk about your for now, this is the top of our top 24. So you've got a special place on our next year. So thanks again.
All right, well, thank you. I enjoyed it.